more effective home workouts. What's going on, guys? My name is Matthew Villano. I'm a certified personal trainer through the ISSA. There's a lot of videos out there showing you guys different exercises, different routines, taking you through different programs, showing you what you can do at home to maintain your muscle mass and maybe even make some progress. But there's not a lot of videos showing you the behind the scenes, the mechanics of how you can make those workouts a little bit more effective for you and get the most out of them. That's what we're going to cover in this short video. Let's go over the top 5 methods you can use in your home workouts in order to increase the difficulty and get the most out of your workout. I'm going to be rating all of these ideas, all of these methods on a scale from most impactful, which will be number 1, to least impactful. And that's not to say that you shouldn't use all of these. It's just to show you that if you had to prioritize one or the other, number 1 will be most important and most impactful to your training. And number 5 would be the least important or the least impactful. So number 1. The number 1 variable that you can control to improve your training is definitely going to be increasing the weight, increasing the reps, or increasing the amount of sets. Now, I know a lot of you aren't able, most likely, to increase the weight. You might have to get creative, but if you can increase the weight, that's probably the number 1 thing that I could recommend for you to make your training more impactful and more effective. So, increase the weight if you can. Increase the amount of reps. So if you're usually shooting for 10 reps, let's try to do 15 to 20. So increasing the amount of reps. Also increasing the amount of sets. So if you're going to do usually 3 sets, let's go to 4 or 5, especially if the weight is lighter and you can increase the reps. You can't increase the weight, let's say. You can increase the reps, and you should definitely also increase the sets. That way we can overall just increase the amount of work being done. Time for number 2. Number 2, increasing the amount of time under tension on the muscle. So all that means is that you're going to increase the amount of time that the muscle has to work under the load. So a couple methods for doing that would be something like an isometric hold. Instead of maybe doing two dumbbells at a time, front raises, you can raise one up, hold one while the other comes down. When it comes back up to meet the opposite hand, the other one goes down. This one stays up. So you're taking advantage of an isometric hold on the arm that just rose that dumbbell to this point, and now it has to stay there while you do the other rep. So increasing time under tension with an isometric contraction. You can also use slow eccentric contraction. So the eccentric part of the movement is the part where you are actually isometrically relaxing the muscle. So for a dumbbell, it would be on the way down when you're resisting that weight. Let's say a bench press would be also on the way down towards the chest. The concentric would be the explosive press up off the chest. So slow eccentrics, using somewhere from 3 to 5 second slow eccentrics, so lowering the dumbbell for 3 to 5 seconds. To my knowledge, anything more than that is probably a little excessive. So that's going to be number 2, increasing the amount of time that the muscle has to be working. Moving on to number 3. Number 3, pretty simple, just decreasing the rest time in between exercises. So another side note for this would be that I would recommend you guys use some kind of circuit training so that you're not just doing some kind of pressing movement, let's say like a push-up, and then resting in between, and then going back to the push-up, resting in between. You can absolutely do that, but what I would recommend is combining different exercises together into some kind of a circuit. So if you're doing push-ups, maybe you do a set of push-ups, then you go ahead and do a set of pull-ups, working opposing muscle groups, getting better blood flow, kind of just making more of your time. And overall, just decreasing rest time in between, even if you are just doing single exercises, decreasing the rest time is just going to increase the intensity, not give the muscle as much time to recuperate in between sets. So pretty simple one, pretty straightforward. A lot of people don't even time their sets. You kind of just go off instinct. Just timing your sets, you'll probably decrease your rest time once you see that a whole minute's gone by. What I would recommend is probably going from what you're probably doing right now, which might be like a minute and a half, to lowering the rest time to definitely at least a minute or maybe a little less, 45 seconds is probably what I'd recommend. Moving on to number 4. So number 4 kind of ties in with decreasing rest time, because what we're doing with drop sets and supersets is decreasing the amount of time that the muscle has to recuperate, especially with a drop set. Now, a drop set is where you'll do something with, let's say, a body weight exercise like a push-up, and then directly afterwards you'll do something a little easier but the same type of movement. So maybe you do a push-up with your hands on the floor, normal push-up position, you get 10 to 12 of them. Then directly after you finish that last one, you elevate your hands, put your hands on, let's say, a chair or a bench if you have one, and continue doing push-ups. So you're pushing the muscle fibers farther than you could have in that normal push-up position, because we took some of the load out of the equation by putting it on an angle, hands elevated, and you continue to do push-ups. That's a drop set. A superset would be using an exercise that isn't the same as the previous exercise. So if you do push-ups, your next exercise could be pull-ups. That'd be a superset. And finally, last but not least, number 5. Hopefully you can see it. And let's see, yes, I think you guys can see that. Number 5, introduce variation. So variation is a big factor when it comes to building muscle, overall building a balanced physique. Introducing variation will ensure that you are working the muscle fibers from different angles and in different ways to challenge the muscle fibers and keep progressing forward. Let's say, for example, you do, some type of home circuit that you found on Instagram, and instead of doing that same circuit the next day, maybe find a different one. Maybe introduce a new exercise that you found and kind of plug it into that circuit that you've been doing. Maybe use it as a drop set, maybe use it as a superset. But make sure you guys are adding some variation in there and not just doing the same exact workout every single day, one after another. So finally, one more point I just wanted to make. It's not necessarily a method that you'd use in your workouts, but it's just a general guideline, and that is to help your body recover by getting enough sleep and getting adequate protein. These things are just preliminary and will definitely help accelerate your progress and help you keep your muscle mass and aid in all of this that you're working hard to be doing with your workouts. Don't let those tough workouts go to waste. Get enough sleep, get enough protein, eat healthy food, take your multivitamin. You know the deal. Also, if any of you are looking for an online coach, I am offering online coaching. Send me an email at villanopersonaltraining@gmail.com. It'll be in the description or the comment section if this is Instagram. So let me know if you guys need any help. Certified coach, and I usually train people in person, but being that there is a global pandemic, I'm not doing so. So there you have it, guys, my top 5 methods for increasing the effectiveness of your home workouts. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I missed anything. Definitely drop them down in the comments. Whether this is Instagram or YouTube, it'll be on both. So drop your ideas. Looking to create a community of strength, a community of people who are trying to help each other, especially in this rough time that some of us are having. I'm lucky enough I have a gym in my basement, I have food to eat, and I don't have to put myself in harm's way. But there's people who are not so fortunate. So it's definitely a tough time that we're going through for a lot of people. Let's band together and help each other out. Stay healthy, everyone.